hope that this video finds you well and healthy. In this video, I'm going to cover a few tips on how to organize your online courses, some things to think about in terms of how your new users, your students, are going to approach your course and how are you going to help guide them through the course. I always think about how to make my courses as high speed, low drag as possible because it really does help with the student success later on. So I'm going to screen share with you my course. And I'm actually going to screen share a couple of courses with you. The first of which has a unique feature that I use in all of my courses. So I'm going to screen share, and here is my course homepage for my Sociology 1301 course. This I used in Summer 1. And so on the course homepage, I will always have a Start Here folder. Basically, it has all of my housekeeping material, and it'll have like my schedule, the syllabus quiz, any contracts, course contracts that you want to put in there. I will always I'll always put those things in the Start Here folder. So that way, if students log in earlier than you expect them to, they can initially just immediately know where exactly to go. Under the Start Here, they'll have the textbook information, maybe some of the chapters. If you have a publisher that gives ebook chapters away, there's also help, resources, and frequently asked questions. And then underneath there, and here's my tip, I always will, in every course, will include a video, a welcome video from the professor. This video is about 5 minutes long. It really just gives them a face to the name and lets you know that, or lets them know that you're a human being and there is someone on the other end of their computer reading their assignments and so forth. So I give them a little bit about myself and kind of introduce the course in that intro video or that welcome video. I'll also tell them what to expect from an online course. If it's a mini-mester course, then like a Maymester or Wintermester or even a summer course, then I'll kind of give them a little bit of pointers on what to expect from such a condensed course. In the second video, I will include how to navigate the course video. Now, this video will go over where to access the syllabus, the schedule, where to find the chapter material. So for instance, if you look at the left-hand course menu, you'll see the link for the course homepage, a link for the Collaborate, which some of my courses will say Collaborate Virtual Office Hours or Collaborate Virtual Office Hours and live lectures, because I do give students live lectures during the semester. Underneath that, I will immediately put their course material in one link. That way, that page, they know that when they go to the chapter modules link, that is exactly where they need to go to access all of their materials. So I will go in that how to navigate this course video, I will cover all of these links, and that way they know exactly where to find certain things and there's no issues later on, and you don't get the questions of, how do I get to this assignment, or how do I access this exam and so forth. So you're doing it ahead of time. And last but not least, I will always include how to access virtual office hours or how to contact and communicate with your professor video. A lot of times, because professors will do only Blackboard messaging to communicate with the professor or only SPC email, I will still show them exactly how I want them to contact me. It will help. And I promise you, it leads to just less frustration, not just for yourself, but for your students. And that way, they know exactly how to contact you as soon as issues arise, should they have any. One more thing that I wanted to cover is how to lay out your goals, like your chapter modules. If you're going to do chapter modules, it is helpful to know as a student what to expect from the material that you're about to read or that you're about to learn. What is the objective of the material that you're consuming, and how does that fall in line with the objectives of the course? So I am going to switch over to another course so that I can show you how to properly do this. So I went into a separate course so I can show you how I lay out my chapter modules, because I'm still working on the previous course that I just showed you. Now, in this course, this is my World Cultures course. If you go to the chapter modules section, and in the chapter modules, this is where I will lay out my goals and my objectives for the students. That way they know exactly what to expect from the material that they're about to look at. So I always give the general core objectives related to the course. These you can copy and paste from your syllabus into Blackboard as an item. And I always will do the student learning outcomes for the course, and these are also copied from the course syllabus. So if you go to your Common Core syllabus, you can copy and paste these items. It really does help to know what to expect, and basically to know as a student that the material that you're learning isn't frivolous. There is a rhyme and reason for everything. Underneath the learning objectives and the goals for the course, that's where I'll start listing all of my materials. So I prefer to list out my material by exam number for some sections of my courses, and in other ways for other sections, depending on your teaching style and depending on how you structure your course. For instance, if I go to Chapter 1 material, this is where I'm going to have all of the modules for that exam, and then I'll also have the Exam 1 review and the Exam 1, actually I'll have those released at a certain date on a certain time. And so I obviously am not going to have the exam ready to go right out the gate. But if the students click on module 1 is going to go to chapter 1, module 2 goes to chapter 2, and so forth. So for each of these modules, I will copy the chapter learning objectives that are included in a lot of the course packs that the publishers provide for the professors. And so if you get a course pack or a set of PowerPoints where at the beginning of the chapter PowerPoints it'll say chapter learning objectives, you can copy and paste those into your module. That way the students know right out the gate, oh, in this chapter, this is what I'm gonna learn. And it's also beneficial for later on when they're having to sit down to actually study for the exam. That's when they can go back and if they need to revisit something, they can easily navigate those objectives to find exactly where to find that information. So if they know they're having trouble, let's say with a certain concept or certain definitions, they can easily go through those learning objectives and they'll know, oh, it's in this chapter, in this module, that's where I learned about this, and they can kind of revisit it for the exam. And so I have gone over how to organize your lectures or your lecture material, your courses in Blackboard, including three essential, I think they're essential, how-to videos, a welcome video from your professor, how to contact your professor, and then a video on how to navigate the course. Those are going to streamline your course so nicely for your students and for yourself. They also eliminate some headaches later on. All of these things, I don't know if I just stumbled upon them or if I learned them from other people. And I think most of the stuff that I do, I have learned from other people, or I've learned from workshops just like this. So there's a couple of things that I want to ask you And it is more of a prompt for you to think about how you are organizing your courses. So when you go in to organize your course or to begin setting up your course, I always recommend that you use a working copy so that you can just copy that working copy each semester, and you only have to mess with one copy, and it can cause, it just eliminates some headaches later on. So what you should be asking yourself is, what is the simplest way that I can organize my course that any student, whether they're non-traditional or new to online or a high school student, any student can jump in and already know exactly what to do. And you don't have to do any hand-holding later on in the semester. It kind of gets this done and out of the way initially. So I also want you to think about what of your material is necessary for student success and what is kind of the fluff. I know in behavioral sciences we use a lot of videos that kind of help to drive home the point for students in learning some of the concepts within a chapter and so forth. Sometimes those videos are really helpful, but organizing even those videos within your chapter material, or having only a folder for those sort of like fluff videos that help to drive home that point, and organizing those will help, because sometimes having way too much content in one folder can be a little overwhelming for students. So think about some of those things. How are you separating and organizing? And how are you leading and hand-holding the students without having to be there? So are you giving them descriptions for the items that you're putting on Blackboard? Some of the items, if you notice in the video links that I have, I will tell them what is in the video. That way, if they saw it at the beginning of the semester when they're a little tired and they're not used to school yet, but let's say towards midterms, they think, how do I access this particular kind of assignment, or how do I do this? They'll know exactly what video to go to and what video that information is in. So how are you going to organize it? How are you going to essentially guide them to being successful for your course? If you have any questions on how to do this, how to lay out your goals, and so forth, feel free to email me. I'm always more than happy to help. This is kind of my bread and butter in terms of my, how I approach teaching students. So feel free to contact me if you have any questions.